little thing. You know the little triangles on the side? I had it closed, but it still shows all most of the rooms though.
Okay. Cool. Well, I just wanted to let you know it's there. It's there. No one's deleted it, right?
Oh, I got
So
it.
it's
Yeah,
still
Brandon
there.
set me straight.
And like the best thing is, like, they can't debunk it. Like, they've got to go. They have to go. Oh, you have to manipulate the lights, right, to get that result, right? Well, that's kind of the same, Jeremy, as saying you have to assume the lights. So what's the difference between assuming and manipulating? Same. So we're kind of at a stalemate, Jeremy.
That's what I mean, man. It's they get every debate will end either with us winning or a stalemate.
Exactly. So they go, oh my God, you manipulated the light. And we go, oh my God, you assumed the light. So now where are we? We are left with 8-second TikTok videos. Right, that's what we're left with. Really.
Or real science.
All right. So where do we go from here now, Druss? Where do we go? Druss. All right.
Well, Bandsaw,
Druss.
look at it this way.
There you go, buddy. How we going?
Bandsaw, what's the difference between what comes out of your mouth and the other end?
There you go, Druss. Would you like to do a scientific experiment on it, Curved?
The verbal diarrhea content.
3 minutes?
Would you like to do? All right. Now, I reckon I can be done in over 3 minutes, like in an emergency situation.
I don't even think he's talking about the same thing as you, Curve.
I think I'm talking about exactly the same thing.
What is it that you think you're talking about?
Well, Kurt, tell me, what are you talking about?
He doesn't know.
If you think, if Kurt doesn't know, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know? Because if Curve thinks that manipulating light in an experiment is rather suspicious, I would put to Curve that presuming that light is something is rather suspicious as well.
What are we talking about, Bandit?
We're talking about the Nazis, Curved. That's what we're talking about.
I think we're talking about starting the 1 hour drunk timer.
Oh, go and grab a kangaroo.
Yeah, just say he started about 9 Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, or 10 a.m. Eastern Standard.
What light manipulation?
Well, do you not claim that there is light manipulation occurring in the observation that Jeremy provided?
I just woke up again. I don't know anything that he provided.
Have coffee.
Did the Nationals lose while you were asleep?
Do you not claim, Curved, that light manipulation has occurred in the observation that Jeremy has provided?
Well, what observation? Tell me about the observation real quick.
Oh, come on, Curve. Don't play naive.
10 seconds. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about light and sticks and lenses and shadows. Okay?
1 minute.
Are you enlightened?
Look, what's the point of the manipulation?
Exactly. What is the point of manipulating light, Curved, or presuming that light does something? What is the point?
What's the outcome? What did the light manipulation achieve?
What is the outcome? The outcome still leaves us at the same place as, oh my God, we presumed, or oh my God, we manipulated. It's still the same point.
All right, man.
But
so
we're no closer. We're no closer.
did the light manipulation achieve linearity between the angle of elevation and the distance between the points?
To be quite honest, whatever you're saying now, Curved, I do not understand a word you're saying.
Right, because that's the
Right.
actual point of this.
Right? Right? But, right, the point being, right, the point is very clear. Right? The light was manipulated, right, to give a result, which equaled a result, right? Now, right, you presume light does this to give a result, which is the same result. In both circumstances, there's a little bit of ambiguity involved, just a little bit.
What
It's a bit
was
fuzzy.
the result of this? What did it show you?
What did it show me? Well, it showed me that we can get similar results regardless of the argument.
Similar?
Similar, exactly.
I'm not looking for similar. How similar?
Well, pretty similar, like pretty close to similar, like pretty exact to similar.
Close enough for confirmation bias?
Well, look, close enough to go, you know what? Both sides are manipulating or presuming something.
Presuming. You want to talk about that,
exactly.
don't you? That's what you really want to get at. You don't know anything about your side's argument here.
I don't have to know anything about my side. I don't have to know
what am I
anything.
presuming? What am I presuming?
Right. Well, do you presume that light rays are so close to parallel that we can consider them parallel? Do you presume that?
Don't give a fuck.
You don't? Why don't you?
No, because I don't need to.
Okay, you don't. What do you give a fuck about? Apart from the Nazis, what do you give a fuck about?
I give a fuck about the angle, the measured angle of elevation at a given time from multiple locations.
Like what time?
Measured angle.
Like what time? 11:30, 1:35, like 2:37.
Doesn't matter.
Like what time?
Doesn't matter. Same time for all observers.
At the same time. So if every single observer curve goes, you know what, I'm going to stand in my backyard at 2:37, right? We are all going to get the same result at 2:37.
AM or PM?
We're going to go, obviously, PM, unless you want to register the shadow of the moon.
No, I just wanted to know if you're going to be able to stand up or not.
Well,
Can Bandsaw turn down his accent and his sarcasm levels? They're at like an 11.
Oh, really?
So anyway, here's the question. Did this manipulated experiment replicate what we see in reality?
Which
yes
one?
Or no?
Which one curved?
Your stupid lens thing.
Oh.
What were the measures?
My stupid lens thing? Well, look, I'm offended that you would say that a bunch of Filipino kind of student come professor, mathematician kind of guys are stupid. Well, that's offensive, curved.
Who said anything about people? I said this experiment.
Okay then. So these people that conducted this experiment, right? I don't think they were stupid. Right?
I didn't say they were. Stupid. Keep harping on that.
Okay then. So these people that happened to put in.
Were they drunk?
He's gone. Hooray.
You might just passed out.
All right, so simple question for anybody who saw it. Did this lens give them, at one point in time, the linearity? X degrees per distance between the points.
Yes.
Where can I see that?
Hold on, wait, you said linearity between the points? What did you say that again?
Can somebody talk to him for me, please? I can't do this.
Just repeat
Jeremy,
your
you gotta
last sentence.
listen before you answer
The
questions.
motherfucker's answering the goddamn question and then asking me what the question was.
Yeah,
you
my
can't
bad.
do both.
I thought you said, now I'm not sure what you said. So what did you say? Did it give us what?
Somebody who knows what I'm talking about,
Just
please do this.
Just say what you said again, that's all.
Who?
He
Kurt.
doesn't have to repeat himself. The YouTube stream is there.
Oh god, you guys are so
I have no
difficult.
idea
You're
what
like,
he said either.
Just fucking ask him.
What are you talking about?
Hey, Curve, you got a rogue mod, just letting you know.
Okay, duly noted.
did they mute you,
Okay.
Bandsaw? Come on, guys, get it under control here.
No, they kicked me. They kicked me, Jeremy. They
There's a
kicked
turn
me.
in the punch bowl.
Fuck.
Exactly.
Get your people in order, Curved.
It was probably Rig who
Exactly,
kicked you.
Curved. Get your people in order, Curved. All right. Otherwise, the wrath will come down.
His internet,
The wrath will come down.
his internet went out. He's not being a big baby. Come on, man.
That's all right. Like, I will, right? Like, this has happened a couple of times, Jeremy, right, in the last few days, right? So I will show the same possibility.
Nobody cares.
Right? Over in some other server. No, you don't care. No, you don't care. Because you want to talk about what? What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about why you're a terrible stereotype for Australian people.
I'm a terrible stereotype, am I? Why so? Why so?
Ask your fellow Aussies.
Tell me why I'm a terrible stereotype.
Wait, don't drag us into this.
Right?
That's exactly
What
what
have
dragged
you?
into it.
What have? Look. I'm going to ask you a simple question. What have you achieved today? What have you
A,
achieved today?
you drink Fosters. B,
Right?
you're clearly
What have
intoxicated and slurring your
you
words.
achieved today? Apart from being in your mother's basement, right? Being on the internet, what have you achieved today?
Making fun of a drunk Australian.
Oh, so that's what you've
Met a couple
achieved
of times
today.
today already.
I cleaned the bathroom. I cleaned the
No,
bathroom.
you
Does that
clean-
count for anything?
Yeah, casual. You know, I'm not
I'm
talking
gonna
to
do some
you.
laundry later today.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking to you, casual. I'm
Oh,
talking
why
to all
not?
these other nuffs.
Oh, why not? Why
Right?
can't you talk to me as well? Why? What have I
Because
done to you?
casual, you and I have this relationship, right?
Do we?
Where I don't take my aggression out on you, right? So whatever I say,
Oh, go on.
casual, you know that your thrusty bits and my thrusty bits are in sync.
Gee, I told you.
That's
There'd be confusion about that name.
That's a long story about thrusty bits.
There you go, right?
Oh, Bandy.
Put the
There we
Fosters down,
go.
man.
There we go. Right. So
Put it
I
down.
want to know, right, what achievements people have made today, other than being in their mum's basements. I go on, oh my God, I'm going to drop a YouTube link,
I
right?
cleaned the bathroom
to
in my
prove
mom's
this,
basement today.
right? What have
I
we
achieved
done?
lockdown.
All right. Fuck you and your fucking lockdown. Well, if you want to blame lockdown on you not doing anything with your life, well, that is a poor excuse of a human being. Really.
Bandsaw, can you let other people talk?
Maybe. Okay.
So
Cyber,
where
you have
can I
something to say?
see in this demonstration, experiment, observation, where can I see the angle change matching the distance change?
Oh, he's been muted now by someone on the server.
And I take it our good friend Jeremy wasn't listening either.
Of course not.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Don't engage. Don't engage, Curved.
What'd you say?
He doesn't engage with you anymore, Jeremy. Sorry, you're
Well,
on the list.
this is something I want to know. I've been asking for quite some time now.
Don't
This
do it,
one
Curved.
simple question, and can't get a fucking answer to it because flat earthers are retards.
Just ask it. I'm right here. Go.
Where can I see the angle change matching the distance change?
The angle change matching the distance change. It might be in that video. I'm not sure.
You
I
realize that's the whole point. That's the whole issue. That is the difference between flat and sphere.
Is it in the video?
Is it your video?
Yeah. I don't have time right now to look it out. I watched it a long time ago. The point is they did Eratosthenes on a flat surface. You guys said it can't be done on a flat surface. It has been done on a
That
flat
just-
surface.
What do you think doing Eratosthenes means?
You get all the angles to match where the light source is. Boom.
Angles to match where the light source is.
Angles of yeah.
No.
That's
No.
not what Eratosthenes does. When you have zero,
No.
when you have a zero shadow, the light source is right above you. That's what matches.
That needs to match as well as the rate of change of the angle and distance. That
To the
is the
sun? The
difference
distance
between
to the sun.
sphere and flat.
You're talking about the distance to the sun or the distance from the other sticks?
Stick to stick.
What?
Once the sun is sufficiently far away, you're not going to have any noticeable difference in the angles. That's all. I mean, with us, the difference is down to Jesus Christ. I mean, just ridiculously small fraction, several decimal places out difference.
All right. Well, I'll look into it and I'll get back to you.
You don't know?
You're looking for a relationship from
That's a good response
the
from
angle
Jeremy.
change.
Yay.
You're looking
Yes,
into a relationship from the angle change to the distance between the sticks.
Yeah, nobody ever said that the light source and the shadow and isn't going to match. We're not saying that if the surface is flat, it's going to make it appear like the light is somewhere else.
That's specifically what has been claimed this whole time.
No.
Well, your other Glober friends. See, you got. That's why I come here.
Not
You
by
guys
me.
are the top Globers. Yeah, that's why I come here. You guys are the top Globers. These
I'm
other
not
Globers,
them.
like
I don't
these
know
other-
who said what.
yeah, you got like Peyton Ass's show running around talking wild shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about, no doubt.
Well, I mean, if he became a flat earther, it wouldn't bother me.
That's your boy.
I want nothing to do with him.
No, he's on your team. You guys hold hands when you walk through parking lots.
No, he's
Yeah,
down in the farm system.
You're going to combine everybody that believes in your belief all together? Is that what you're going to do there, Jeremy?
We have two clear cut sides. We got the globe side
Dave's
and then
little,
the flat earth side.
Dave's app that he has about a little clock. That's your app? That's your belief?
You talking about Dave Weiss?
Yep. Is that what you believe?
I mean, it's a lot of stuff is speculation on our side and
It's your
and
belief. It's your
ideas.
belief.
You guys have things that are chiseled in stone. that
so
can't be.
boy.
Would you say it's very hard to understand you because your mic's crackling
That's
and
your boy. Is that your boy?
Dave Weiss? Hell yeah, Dave Weiss, that's my boy.
Okay, so you believe everything that little app says?
No.
What?
I don't.
You have to. You have
I don't
to.
have to. I don't have to. Flat Earth stuff isn't chiseled in stone. We're coming up with new ideas, figuring things out. Your
Jeremy,
guys' side
you
is
said
the
you
one that's.
both believe Dave Weiss and that you don't believe his app. His app is exactly what he says.
You guys have your stuff. You guys have your stuff. What's my country? Listen, you guys have your stuff chiseled in stone. It can't change the R value, all that. My side is coming up. Bro, why are you funny muting me? We're just having a casual conversation.
Because you just said you gave Curve a big bullshit about what his boy said, and it has to be what his boy said, but you won't take the same blame.
No, he just said that he didn't want what's his name on his side. Peyton asked Sean on his side. He said we could have him. I said no, that's your boy.
And Dave's your boy.
That's right. Damn Skippy.
The model we've been watching for how long? Been at all the your little conventions. That's your model.
Right. Like I said, that's not no. That's not chiseled in stone. You guys have shit that's chiseled in stone that can't change that you have to go with. On our side, it's more loosey. On our side, it's more fluent and fluid. You know, it's loosey goosey over here. We got ideas. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. We're pitching ideas around. Bro, why are you constantly fundy muting me? We're just having like a cat. This isn't even like a heated topic.
Because you can believe in one thing or you can believe in anything. We believe in one thing. You believe in anything.
You don't though. You believe in different things. Sometimes your peoples go against your
Really, if I
your
was stone
shit. Yeah, sometimes
Jeremy believes in ignorance.
Sometimes your peoples go against the chisel and stone shit, you know, and that's where it gets a little weird because you're supposed to all be on the same page.
No, that's not the case, Jeremy. Can you
That
hear
is
me?
the case. I hear you.
All right. So yeah, no, the globe side doesn't have to all believe the same thing.
Yes,
And
you have
there's
shit
a
that's chiseled
problem.
in stone.
Hold on. There's a problem. You know, people believe whatever they want. They're independent. There's a problem when you say that you both agree with what David Weiss says, but you disagree with the model he proposes, right?
I didn't say I agree with what he says. Who said that?
You did. You said you agree with David Weiss and that he's your boy.
No, I said he's my boy. I didn't say I agree with everything he says. Our shit's not chiseled in stone. We're allowed to disagree with each other. You guys are not allowed to disagree with each other at any means.
We're not.
There are some places where there isn't an answer, Jeremy, and then people can speculate.
As far as the shape of
For the established
Earth
stuff,
is concerned, we're on the same side as Grimm, but he's completely ridiculous.
You guys gotta relax, man. Seriously, how many of you guys are in here are not on weed? Who's not on weed right now?
I'm not.
We talk
Thomas,
about
are you?
Anything, just coffee.
Thomas, are you on weed?
The strongest thing I have is tea.
Herbal tea? Nice.
Good God, no. No, just tea.
Tea?
I don't drink that herbal shit.
Thomas, are you on weed?
I want Earl Grey and nothing else.
No, I have Yorkshire tea.
I'm just saying, you guys gotta start smoking more weed, man. Get your shit together.
I like weed.
Oh, what? So we smoke weed and end up a retard like you? Yeah, that's a good reason to stay.
No, you end up not spiraling out of control over every little conversation.
Oh, really?
I ain't no retard. I like weed.
There's a question for you, Jeremy, in the chat. What video is this Eratosthenes flat rimming?
Oh, I'll get it. Hold on.
Thank you.
I found it yesterday after I messaged Brandon.
Whatever that means, I haven't the faintest fucking idea what it means, but hey.
I got you. Hold on.
And I want to make this point. When I'm looking at this, I'm talking about from several points of observation. If you're down to 2 points, then your parallel shit becomes an issue. For me, it's not, because I'm always looking at this with multiple observation points. Do you get that?
There we go, right there. Globe Earth mathematically debunked. I don't know if that title's necessarily true. I wouldn't say this debunks the globe, but it definitely shows that you can do Eratosthenes on a flat surface, which has been the claim this whole time.
If there's a lens flying around in the sky at the right position, then you can, yeah. But there isn't there isn't a lens flying around in the sky at the right position. So
that's where we're down to. Hold on, that's where we're down to you guys presupposing how the sky works.
Jeremy,
there's no lens like this.
This video presupposes that the sky has a lens flying around in it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and you're presupposing
automatically positions itself just right for the observer always.
Oh, well, that's a load of shit then.
Right. That's why we don't presuppose how the sky. No, that's why we don't presuppose how the sky works. And you guys, hold on. You guys do. You guys do.
Anything works.
Oh God. Bro.
Please let him respond.
Let him talk. Let him talk. Let him talk. Sorry.
Just Thomas, you need to go take a little puff pass. Now, our side, yes, we're presupposing that there's a Fresnel lens in the sky on this one. You're presupposing that there's not. We're both presupposing how the sky works in the Eratosthenes thing, correct?
No.
Oh no, it's observable. It's observable that what you're proposing is not true.
We're not presupposing anything.
We would see the sun change. It would distort
unless the lens is over the whole sky. Then would we see the sun change, or would it be the same all the time because there's lenses always there?
What lens?
The lens, the Fresnel lens. Just run with it.
There isn't one
Just
in the
go with
sky,
it.
though. You're just making shit up.
That's your claim. I know that's the claim.
Show me.
It doesn't
Show me
work
where
if it's the whole sky.
Show me where the Fresnel lens is over me right now, because I can't.
I told you I'm presupposing how the sky works on this one.
No, you are. You're
I
pretending.
told
there's
yes,
a
I am.
Fresnel lens.
I am presupposing how the sky works, just like you guys presuppose how the sky works.
Wrong.
That's your claim. I know.
But you're presupposing a magic lens that you cannot see, and there's no evidence for.
I can't see magic lens.
If it was there, it would be distorting the sun, right?
It would be distorting lots of things.
It's the light from the sun that's being distorted. Then the actual what we see of the sun should distort, and it doesn't.
What about the rest of the sky? The rest of the sky should also distort.
Right. It just.
How do you know it's not?
Because clouds fly near the sun and they don't get distorted, Jeremy.
Right.
The lens could be above the clouds and beneath the sun.
It could be.
Yeah. It could be, but there could also be ones above it, right? You haven't told us where this lens is. It's in the atmosphere.
Who knows?
There's no reason to believe there's a
no
lens.
reason to assume that a cloud can't go through it.
Just nonsense.
There's another problem. He also claims this lens to work looking at buildings along the surface of the earth in the distance.
Really?
Well, that's something else. That's a whole different. That's the Rob Skiba thing.
How much magic do you fucking have?
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, what is the threshold for you to say, "Oh, this might be wrong"? Are you just gonna keep making up stuff, like be like, "Oh, it could be this,
wrong.
it could be that, it could be that"?
Well, I could be wrong about.
How would you know? Well,
I could be wrong
what
about
is your threshold to know that this is wrong?
When we can prove something. If I said, listen, guys, water doesn't exist, and then someone came over and threw a bucket of water on me, I drank some, I took a bath, I'd be like, all right, this is what we call water. It exists. Fine. I'm happy that you've proven it.
You'd find some excuse to not say.
No.
You really would, Jeremy. I mean, that's just your whole shtick. You find some excuse not to deny reality is what you do.
Well,
what do you think about Blue's Cavendish thing? Is that gravity or no?
Like space-time bending?
Have you seen Blue's Cavendish?
Yeah. You're saying he's showing us space-time bending.
Yeah, it seems like it.
It's debatable. Like I said, I could be wrong, or it could be something else, other variables you haven't accounted for. Maybe variables you don't even know about.
Like a Fresnel lens in the sky. Come on.
There it is.
I don't think a Fresnel lens would do Cavendish, but...
You just said that gravity could be the explanation for gravity, Jeremy.
What? I said I could be wrong and it is space-time bending. Or I could be right and it's not, but you guys don't have the
could
proof.
be anything else. So you have no
something
position.
else, yeah. It could be electrostatic, magnetism.
You don't have a position, not where the Earth is flat.
Why?
You just have a
You
contrarian.
don't have any evidence.
You have a contrarian position. You don't have any real.
Right. It's not a position based on anything because you're not basing your information, your position on anything that you can concretely say is true.
What's your point?
You should say you don't know. That's the position you actually have.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying until you can prove it,
unrecognizable, is unsubstantiated from your position that you've described so far.
Well, we were talking about the Cavendish thing. That's a big claim that you guys are making.
And what does that matter?
It's not a big claim.
It's a huge claim. Space-time's bending. It's big stuff.
Claim. That's what matters. It's testable.
You can't test space-time, man. Come on.
Okay, you can.
No, you can't.
I think Blue has an experiment that does it, doesn't he?
Well, okay. So space-time distortion has been tested through observation.
Since like what, 18 something?
Yeah, for a long time, Jeremy. This is like, it's not news.
You can't test something. You
can't.
Listen, you cannot find out the cause. I went over this with Left Lane last week or something. You can't figure out the cause of an effect by just looking at something. Right? We would agree on that, right? Would you agree on that?
No, I don't.
No, I would not agree with that.
Make a prediction about what you expect to see that justifies your position more than other positions.
Tell me how you find the cause of an effect by just looking at something.
All right, you come up with an explanation, and in order to test that explanation, you make a prediction of what you should see.
Right.
And then you go look at it.
Okay, so I predict in Big Blue's Cavendish thing that invisible unicorns are pushing the masses together. I proved it. Because I saw it. That's what you guys do. That's what you guys do. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the force exerted by the invisible unicorns? How did you what? Well, no, this is your thing. You need to show us the calculations that you did to determine that. How you ensured that there were invisible unicorns present to make the experiment work, and how you can then adjust the number of unicorns so that we can tell that they are the cause of the effect.
Right. It's not just one observation, Jeremy. Also, you don't just look once and come to a conclusion.
Okay, we can. First of all, we just use the math that we already got the math for little g. What does this do? Little g or big G? Either way, it doesn't matter. We got the math for the invisible unicorns.
So you're saying your unicorns are gravity?
So the unicorns are consistent, and they do a certain amount of work per mass unit. Okay. So we just call them a different name. So okay, fine. But
let's call them,
the point is,
let's call them gravities.
The point is, you don't know if it's
let's call them
space-time
gravities.
Yeah. The point is, you don't know if it's space-time bending or the invisible unicorns because you can't find the cause of an effect by just looking at something.
Right, but that's why, like I said, you can test the claim and the predictions it should make in reality. And
I predict that my invisible unicorns are going to do exactly what.
Yeah, but that prediction doesn't help you get to the answer, does it? You need to make a prediction that will eliminate some stuff and include other stuff, right?
Exactly.
So you look at these two masses going together and you say space-time's bending, right? Even though you didn't.
Not the one that told us that space-time was bending.
Okay, we're using the current gravity, not whatever old bullshit, outdated gravity you guys used to think was happening. We're using the current one.
I don't think this is why chemo. Jeremy.
This is why chemo needs to get you motherfuckers all on the same page. It's Einsteinian space-time bending, 4D, however you say that word, space, Romanian, whatever.
So when Einstein talked about this, he made a lot of hypotheses and predictions that people later
viable.
Observe.
You didn't make a viable hypothesis.
Really? Why were they confirmed by the observations that were predicted to happen at these points where you would expect one of multiple things to happen?
Let's hear one of his hypotheses.
I don't think you're at the level to understand these hypotheses, Jeremy.
Let's hear it. I am absolutely at the level.
We chat with you. You're not at the level, in my opinion.
Let's hear a hypothesis.
At the level.
Let's hear a space-time hypothesis.
So regardless of what the hypothesis is and all the rest of it are, I mean, what is actually causing the balls to come together? What on time and time again? What is it?
Well, I saw it. I saw it happen. Therefore, I can just jump to any.
No. You tell me. No, what do
jump
you?
to any-
No. What do you think's causing it to happen? That's what I'm asking you. If it's not gravity,
I could say anything.
Okay. Well, what I'm asking your opinion. What is it? I mean, are you saying that the balls weren't attracted to each other? Is that what you're saying, or?
I'm just saying I can say whatever I want to because you guys think that you can find the cause of an effect by just looking.
No. That's irrelevant.
So I can just say the cause. I can just say the cause is whatever I want and be right because I can predict it. I have the math for it.
I'm not making any claim at all. So ignore what the conversation you just had with the other two just a moment ago. Just ignore that for the moment. I'm asking your opinion. What's causing that to happen, in your opinion?
I don't make any claims on it.
Okay. So you come and said you told us what it isn't, but you're not willing to say what it is.
No, I didn't say it's not. I specifically said I could be wrong.
So is it gravity or isn't it then?
I said it specifically could be space-time bending. I could be wrong. You don't have the proof.
But is it gravity or isn't it then? Okay,
you're
so
just
you
trying
come
to
here.
give yourself an out.
So basically, you're coming here. You're not saying it is gravity. You're not saying it isn't. But you're also not willing to actually put forward what you think it is. What kind of argument is that?
I have some ideas and speculations that could be what it is. But it's irrelevant. It's not about nobody.
No, it is. It's completely relevant. It's completely relevant.
Bro, you gotta relax, man.
I'm completely relaxed. What I'm trying to get? No, I'm completely relaxed.
You're not on weed, are you?
Okay, so what? No, I'm not. So what are what are your predictions and ideas then? What you think it is? You just said you had some ideas. So what are your ideas? What it might be then? What are they?
My ideas are irrelevant to proving what reality is. Now there's a big bro. Relax.
I'm completely relaxed. I don't know what you can
Please just let him speak. Let him get a few words out before you start talking again.
And Jeremy, please, no snidey insults. Jesus Christ.
I'm just trying to get at what you just declared you had some ideas as what you think it might be, and I think it's completely relevant to the conversation entirely. So, what are your ideas as to what it might be?
I also have ideas of what happens after you die. Do you want to hear about that, or ideas of what happens before we were born?
We're not,
do you want to hear about my ideas and fantasies about how the world works?
But we're not talking about.
But
we're not talking about what happens when we die. We're talking about this particular Cavendish experiment. So again, what are you declared just a moment ago? You had some ideas to what it might be. What are those ideas? Because they are relevant to the conversation. So what are they?
No, my ideas don't matter about reality. It's what you can.
Right.
prove,
Okay.
not the thoughts that go. Relax, bro. It's not about the thoughts that go. You don't sound like it. It's not about the ideas or thoughts you have going through your mind. It's about what you can prove in reality. Our reality, even if we're all brains in a jar, this is still all our realities.
Okay, I think what you're actually saying is that you don't actually have any ideas at all, do you? Because I've asked you 3 times now.
I do, but they're irrelevant.
No, I don't think you do, because you're not willing to put them forward.
No, instead of whatever he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can say I don't know. It's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But don't come in here telling us what it isn't, and then not putting forward what you think it is when you've already declared that you think you do have an idea. That's ridiculous.
I'm not saying it is.
Back up his side. That's sad.
I'm not saying it is or isn't space-time. You guys are specifically saying space-time's bending. This is what's happening in reality.
Yeah, okay, that's our best explanation right now, Jeremy. What's wrong with that?
So that we
can't prove it.
We come up with an explanation.
There is evidence for it.
But we come up with an explanation, but you haven't come up with an explanation yourself. You've not put forward anything at all. But you're telling us what it isn't.
That aren't the same.
You're telling us what it isn't, but not coming up with anything yourself. And by the way,
I didn't tell you what it isn't.
Yeah, but you keep saying as well, just relax. I'm perfectly relaxed, by the way. And this is the way I talk.
You sound like Fight the Flat
No, don't keep telling me I'm relaxed, because I'm perfectly relaxed.
It's just a way to get the conversation.
I know he is.
You sound like Fight the Flat Earth right now, like you're spazzing out, bouncing off the wall.
No, I'm definitely not bouncing off the walls, and I'm completely relaxed. I think relaxed.
But Jeremy,
by the way, Jeremy, your video that you posted doesn't match what we see on Earth.
All that video shows is that Eratosthenes could work on a flat surface. If you
no, it didn't.
assume the way the sky is
between angle and distance was nonlinear.
It was nonlinear, you said?
Yeah.
Everyone would have their own sun in a unique position in the sky. Oh wait.
So that's how it. So it is linear when you do it when you do it without the Fresnel lens. Maybe there's not a Fresnel lens in between us and the sun, and that's why the sun appears
it's nonlinear
in
with
different locations.
It's
oh
only
my god!
On the sphere.
Will you let him talk, please? And Jeremy, no more snide remarks, please.
What snide remarks? I always have snide remarks.
What snide remarks?
Well, don't.
If you don't know what they are, then I'll point them out for you, okay, Jeremy?
The point is, maybe there's not a Fresnel lens, and that's why we see what we see. This linear relationship with the sun appearing to be in all different locations at once.
You have the same problem with and without the lens. You only get the linear relationship on a spherical surface.
Or a flat surface when you don't use the lens.
No, it's the same problem as with the lens. The lens only changes the apparent distance from the surface. It doesn't fix the problem.
I still would like to know what your ideas are. I'm quite curious as to what it is.
Many ideas, many ideas.
Okay, well, tell us what those ideas are then.
So, Jeremy, you literally just said that it's gravity. It's not gravity, but it could be gravity. So you've really told us nothing. You realize that?
No, I said I could be wrong, and it is space-time bending. However, you guys can't prove it.
You're floundering.
Right, but that's not something I think like the cause of has been sought out and understood with that level of evidence yet. The fact that
you just said there was hypotheses. You just said that they had hypotheses and shit on that.
Right, Einstein made predictions that came out to be true. So that's not more evidence in support of this. Because if this was false, you would have predicted, and you saw something else, you would be able to discard it, right? That's what that test did.
Listen, predictions are not hypotheses in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you can try to predict it.
Especially if you can
try to predict the cause
over and over again.
That's exactly what hypothesis is.
You try to predict the cause to an effect, yes, but however, by just looking at it, you can't. You'd never know because you can't. You're only looking.
Specific instances, Jeremy. You don't look at just any instance. You look at one and say, okay, if it's a flat Earth, this is what I expect to see. If it's a globe Earth, I expect to see this. These are different things. So looking at this will tell me the answer, or be evidence for one of those two answers, right?
No,
that's how you're going through it.
Well, yeah, you would expect that.
No, in science, you got to manipulate something to know that you actually have the cause. If you don't do that and you're just looking, you'll never know. You'll never fucking know.
But
that's a lie.
It's giving it validation to study it further and find more of these instances to look at, where some other part of the explanation deems that there should be some difference here. We should see that difference. We should see that difference every time that instance comes up. That's why that explanation has support. Not because we physically measured space-time or moved and bent space-time.
Yeah, I don't have to change the moon or the sun to look at them. Like that's a lie.
Yeah, but you'll never find the cause. Oh, I'm not saying you. What did you just say?
I said I don't have to manipulate the sun or the moon to observe them, to do experiments about them.
Right, you don't always have to have direct video footage of the crime being committed to convict someone, Jeremy.
You guys are all over the place. You can look at things all you want.
It's not all over the place.
You can look at things all you want. You can look at things all you want.
I can predict them too, even though I can't control them. And then I can see if my predictions are accurate or not as well.
All right, listen, you guys are dead wrong on this. I got to go spend some time with my family. I'll be back a little later, probably.
That's how you test them, though, Jeremy.
Let's say, I'll pick up for Jeremy. Let's say, okay, we have the same predictions. My flat Earth model has the same predictions as your globe Earth model. We go out, we do the observations, and it matches both.
No, let Brennan talk. So if we have an undetermined result, then we can't know either way. That would be true. I don't think we do have I don't think we do have an undetermined result, though. We do have one that leans one way or the other.
We have multiple.
Well, I think that's the point of disagreement, because I think we do have an undetermined result. And the reason that we keep bringing up cause and effect is because that lowers the uncertainty. You know, that gives you a direct relationship between the variables instead of observationally fitting it to some hypothesis that you have, which only tells you that you can't falsify the hypothesis. It doesn't tell you that it's
Well, I
correct.
mean, everyone does that.
Completely
We try to. Everyone does that. We try to fit the observation to our, system or whatever. Like you do that too. But which one fits better overall is the question.
That makes no sense. I mean, this is classic shifting of the burden of proof, really. He comes here to debate Cavendish. Won't say whether it is or isn't gravity, but he thinks it isn't because apparently we can't prove it, but then declares he's got ideas of what it might be, but he's not actually willing to offer what those ideas are. I mean, is that a debate? I mean, I don't get it. Well, I get it. It's shifting the burden of proof is what it is. Classic flirt tactic.
Well, it's not a shifting of the burden of proof so much I think it's a denial of how we can rationalize decisions and how we can rationalize evidence.
Well, it is, because if he's not willing to put his ideas forward, he's basically declaring he doesn't hold a position one way or the other. He's just saying, well, you're declaring what it is, but you can't prove it. But I'm not willing to offer what it actually is myself, and that's shifted the burden of proof. I've never seen it before. That's shifted burden of proof I've never heard before. I mean, it's classic.
So, Brandon, without assuming anything one way or the other, like Blue did the Cavendish, he saw the deviation from normal. Like what? How would you explain that? It's not gravity. It's not mass. What would you say it is?
I would say that we don't know. There definitely seems to be a correlation to the movement between the objects and their weight, their mass. So that's fine.
Okay. That's fair. I don't know. Seems like there's a I guess what would you say, preponderance of evidence, something like that.
Right, and it can be tested further. It's not like they're just relying on one test to tell them this. And back to your point about Jeremy, I think the reason he has no position is because he can't evaluate evidence. He can't say what evidence is credible.
Oh, he can.
And what isn't.
No, I'm not buying that. He can for sure. He can't. He's not. He's not willing. He's not willing to hold.
Or not.
He's not willing to hold a position because he knows exactly what his ideas are. He's not willing to hold the position because he's putting the burden of proof on the globe. That's as simple as what he's doing. It's clear as day. I don't know how you can't see it. He's perfectly capable of doing. He's perfectly. I don't think he's stupid at all. I think he's actually quite intelligent, but he's not willing to put his position forward for that reason.
No, I think the inability to evaluate these evidences is not necessarily like a relationship to intelligence, but it's more of a delusion, I think.
No, I don't think he's deluded at all. No,
I asked him, I think it was yesterday or the day before, like, why, like, what happens when Globe Earth takes over? And he's like, oh, well, I become like in charge of stuff and everyone starts eating right and people are healthier. And I'm just like, no, if everyone believed the Earth was flat, that would have no effect on those things. He is. I think he's clearly deluded by making that statement.
He was probably fucking with you.
Maybe he was.
Yeah, he's fucking with us.
We were having like a serious moment. We weren't like joking around like this. And I asked him, I could ask him a serious question.
He's fucking around basically to, like I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but he's fucking around basically for that reason, for the burden of proof. That's all it is. Most flirts do that, and that's what does.
See, this is what you don't understand. You guys say that because we don't accept what we just talked about. You have these observations, you fit them to your hypothesis. You're not able to falsify your hypothesis. We have a different standard, and that's why we always talk about cause and effect.
So he declares that he has an idea as to what it would be, even though I pushed him for it. He's not willing to put it forward. Why is that? Can you explain that?
Probably because he doesn't have any evidence. He hasn't done any experiments.
Well, exactly. So he's lying then.
Yeah. No, he's not lying. He just hasn't done. He just hasn't done it. He hasn't done it.
Well,
himself,
exactly.
So he's not willing to.
Yeah.
Willing. All he'd be doing is speculating. That's all he'd be doing if he gave you something.
That's what I'm saying. So if he's not willing to put his ideas forward, so then obviously the next thing we're going to do is, okay, that's your idea. What's your evidence? He hasn't got evidence for it. That's why he's shifting the burden of proof.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. So he doesn't have evidence, but all he's saying is, you haven't met my burden of proof. That's all he's saying.
Why should we worry about his?
You don't have. He hasn't met yours either, obviously.
What's the point in saying that? Why does he think random people on the internet have some obligation to prove things to him?
Well, we interact for many reasons, and I don't interact with you guys because I come here to have you guys prove the shape of the Earth to me. That's not why we're all here. So he's here for whatever his reasons.
Why are we all here then?
We happen to talk about
That's weird.
the shape of the Earth. That's our interest.
That makes no sense. So basically, what you were saying is that you don't think the Earth is round, but I'm not sure what shape it is. You know, that's not. You see, shifting the burden of proof is not a debate to me. It's nonsense. It's ridiculous. Because if I'm going to debate, but if I'm going to debate something, right, I'm going to come along and say, well, it isn't this. I think it's this, and here's my evidence of what I think it is. That's a debate. A debate isn't when you come along and say, that's not what it is. Okay, so what is it? But hang on. But that's not what it is. Oh, but I don't know. But I don't have any. I'm not claiming as to what it should be or have any evidence for it. What kind of debate is that?
His argument isn't that he knows what the cause of the effect that you observe in Cavendish is. That's not his argument. His argument is that you don't know it, and you're claiming you do know it. That's what he's pointing out. That's all he's pointing out.
Yeah, but that's fine. But what he did say, and everybody heard him say it, he has ideas as to what it would be. Why declare that? He did say that. He had ideas as to what it would be, but he's not willing to put forward what they are. Why would he say that?
Okay, I don't know. He's got ideas.
Well, there you go then.
Everybody's got ideas.
But if you've got ideas, but that's not a debate. If you then come forward and say, "Oh, well, I'm not willing to put those ideas forward," what kind of debate is that? Do you not see that?
I think you guys are having two different debates. That's the problem.
No, we're not.
They don't speak the same language.
No, we're not.
But Brandon, can I ask you the same question?
Sure.
What do you think the loss of the globe will change in society?
If we were actually able to communicate how and why the Earth isn't a globe to people, which is a monumental task, and even if we had a smoking gun, it would be a monumental task if we were able to convince people that, holy shit, you're right. The first question would be, well, why the fuck have they been telling us we live on a globe? And I think it would lead to a complete loss in, what is it called? Belief in the government. It's not the right word, but trust in authority, trust in the scientific establishment. They obviously would have broken all that. And the result would be very interesting.
Do you think they would? Because I think that science has given us more than the shape of the Earth.
Right, but
I think people would have trouble making that coherent, right? These people were wrong about everything, and yet I have machines in my hand that work that they invented.
Well, that's engineering and applied science. It's not theoretical
but,
science.
I mean, that's a great...
It wouldn't be that general. I don't think it'd be that general.
That's a great line for a debate, but if we were faced with this in reality, are people going to say, oh, well, this working thing, that's engineering and applied science, so it's okay that all these people were wrong about absolutely everything, and yet I still have a machine that works? Because,
the globe is not absolutely everything.
Because what they do is called science, and what this is called applied science or engineering. So that somehow disconnects the two things. Because
when you can hold something in your hand and go, oh, I see the results, I see this works. No one's going to come along and say, well, I have a theory that cell phones don't work because these people are liars. That doesn't make any sense. So it's not like all of science is in the same bucket. Science is a very broad term, especially given your definition, correct?
Well, what you just said was people would lose faith in science. They wouldn't have any trust in science. So
specifically government science.
Well, you didn't say specifically. And what's government science?
I was very general. That's why a couple times here I've said that, you're right. It wouldn't be that widespread.
So
also, quite a few times, flat earthers have come out and said, "No, my radio doesn't work. Like mine doesn't work the way that it's working."
Well, there's kooks everywhere.
I was wondering if you wanted to finish up that question, Brandon. I think we kind of got side railed in the middle of your response.
Oh, yeah. So what do I think that would result in?
Yeah.
Well, I suspect that people would go through much the same kind of process that many flat earthers describe, which is kind of an unmooring from the foundations of their worldview, and it kind of leaves you wide open to a lot of things. That's why you see a lot of new flat earthers talking about just off the wall conspiracies. And it takes a while to narrow that down to say, okay, yeah, let's just focus here. But I think that might lead people into following charlatans. Might lead a lot of people back to religion. But definitely the power structures that we currently have in place, many of those would fall down and fail. And hopefully people would have a renewed esteem for their own critical thinking and a higher standard for what they accept from those who are in authority or those who pretend to be authorities on some subject before they take that into their worldview. I would hope that it would lead to a mental strengthening of people as a whole, but I have my doubts. It might turn into there's ISIS everywhere. I don't know.
I mean, I think if that happened, like the first thing that would happen would be like companies like SpaceX would go to zero. They would be proven to be frauds, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because I mean that we've seen that happen to other companies before. Once it's revealed that they're a fraud, you know. So I think if that was to happen, all the frauds would be taken out. Like if they're in governments and powers, like they'd clearly be made at that point. So yeah, I think there probably would be a big political change. I don't know that it would have much effect on us culturally, though. I think we're all still going to do mostly the same thing, you know.
Fired.
I think people would.
It would have to be a little bit different because most other companies that come out as frauds, they do so because their products don't work. Starlink still works.
Well, no, it would have to be a fraud, right?
But it's still doing something.
Right, they're not going to get rid of
it. The main part of SpaceX business is the putting up of satellites, not Starlink.
Yeah, but in reality, it was a fleet of balloons, though.
The entire time, they never were going up to space because it's
flat. But instead they have a fleet of balloons. They're the best balloon launchers in the world, and so they put up the Starlink balloons everywhere.
So if they're putting up Starlink balloons, maybe the Starlink company can survive. But I don't think SpaceX would survive at that point.
But SpaceX is the one that puts all the balloons up there.
Well, they're not making money from the other things they do because they're not really putting satellites up in space.
But they would have a business. All the companies would go, oh, well, okay, so it's just all balloons. Because think about SpaceX. They've launched tons of useful satellites for countries all around the world. And since apparently there's no space and satellites are fake, they've been somehow launching technology that's, as soon as they launch, it helps other countries do whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, they've come up with some other way.
It would be a weird kind of fraud where whatever they're doing is actually working.
Oh, whatever they're doing would still continue, and it has use and utility.
But like
however it is
that go out of business, right?
The utility we get from
satellites. But then we'd have to have all the dishonest people, right? Like, oh my God, like all these different engineers in all these fields were completely dishonest because they were designing balloon-based systems when in reality, balloon-based systems, when they were claiming they were designing space technology, but really it was just balloon-based technology and they were all lying.
Yeah.
There'd be some
presumably they would suddenly make a whole bunch more money because they wouldn't have to waste all the money on the fake bits.
Right.
I also think it might lead to some increased fear in the populace. The fear level would skyrocket, at least initially.
Higher than it is now with COVID? Come on, Brandon.
Also, we would never have to worry about alien invasions, right? Because they can't penetrate the dome.
Yeah, so you're just adding all this ridiculous stuff that doesn't belong in the conversation, but I get it.
Well, I mean, it's just a joke at this point from Jake.
I mean, the whole thing is a joke, Brandon.
Yeah,
No, I
know
thought
that's
that
what
was
you think, Jake.
an honest conversation. I appreciate your candor and like your honest answers about what that means for the world.
Yeah, I just don't think that you could, even if it was true, get enough people to pay attention, but we'll see.
Because honestly, if everyone became a Glober today, it would change absolutely nothing. I think
flat
the
earther,
world
and it would
would still
absolutely
roll
change
in
a
the
lot of
same way that it does, unnoticed.
Dude,
No,
most
there'd be a
Americans don't even know who the vice president is. You think they care about the shape of the earth?
No, but I'm just saying, like hypothetical. Everyone on the planet is a Glober starting today. What does that change? I don't think it changes anything.
You mean flat
a
earth?
big segment of the population?
No.
Like
I mean, if everyone converted to Glober, like you guys flipped today, what does that change?
Yeah.
We all still do the
Nothing.
same shit.
Oh.
Maybe we don't come on this Discord server and argue about flat Earth anymore.
Yeah, there'd be a few unemployed shills, but they'd find something else to do.
NASA, man, he'd be out of a job.
There's no difference. It doesn't change anything.
It does. It would. Changes our whole worldview.
But NASA, Brandon called him NASA because I had NASA on the brain after that talk. But I mean, you could say that about anything. Like, what if it turns out that I don't know. Think of anything else in life that we take for granted.
What if it turns out Jake is a flat earther?
I'd be sorely disappointed in his behavior over the last few years.
I'm trying to think of like what would be similar to that if it was all a huge lie.
That we don't breathe oxygen? I don't know.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of like if nobody actually died and that it was all a conspiracy that people died.
Oh yeah, that'd change things big time. There wouldn't be any fear of death anymore. A lot of people's behavior is based on the fear of death alone. We wouldn't plan our lives around dying like we do now. But think about it. Let's say we are on a flat Earth. That means that conception of space that the heliocentric model has, where we're in an explosion that's expanding and kind of shooting through, nothing, for a better term, is false.
It would also,
which the question comes up, well, where the fuck are we? And what is outside of here? And why are we on this plane?
Right, like on the thing with flat Earth, and flat earthers never like to talk about it, is like you have to then think, well, shoot, what if you keep digging down? If you had like a magic laser digging machine that could just instantly drill holes into the Earth as deep as you want, like what would we hit eventually? Would there be some like force field eventually that's impenetrable, or would it be an infinite amount of dirt? Like for as long as you could dig, there'll always be more dirt. Like what would be underneath the flat Earth?
Yeah, we could be in a Minecraft style simulation where it just keeps rendering more shit.
Well, like some video games, like it only renders to a certain limit, and then there's just like an impenetrable shield, like you can't go any further.
Well, what about, isn't Minecraft an unlimited world?
I don't know. My daughter plays it, but I've never played it, so I don't know. I think most of those games have like a fixed domain though, like they can't go any further than that.
I have a Minecraft subject matter expert. I'll have to talk to him about it.
On old versions of Minecraft, you could go out in any direction except up or down until your floating point math broke.
And that's a video game a man created. Imagine you had somebody that created this. They could probably make it to where
then it would just be so. Instead of God making an infinite space, it's like infinite dirt beneath us, which is just, I think, even more bizarre. I would say like infinite dirt beneath your feet is more weird than what we describe as the cosmos, right?
Dude, either way, this whole thing is bizarre, Jake. Whether it's a heliocentric model or it's a flat Earth, it's just a different kind of bizarre. This is fucking weird, dude.
But the thing is, Brandon, the heliocentric model, whether you believe it's real or not, it perfectly predicts everything that we have in our reality. And you can independently arrive to those predictions without anyone telling you it's a sphere. You can independently arrive to that heliocentric model, and it would still have the utility of the predictions that it offers, right? Well, the flat Earth says, nope, it's not this, it can't be this for some unknown reason. So we'll just say it's all magic and unknowable, and we should throw away all the knowledge that's useful, right? Like being able to predict what direction the sun rises, and the angles of the sun at every location on the Earth. All of that is perfectly useful, but on the flat Earth, we have to just get rid of it because the sky is magic and everyone has their own personal domes that makes it work as if we're in a heliocentric spherical, model with a spherical Earth. It all behaves as if it's that way, but we should just ignore that and just say it's just magic. It's just our domes, our personal domes that makes things work this way. It's just weird.
That's a really nice and elaborate straw man that you've created here, but it looks like we've stopped having a conversation and you've started having a little fantasy with yourself.
Hey, Brandon, can I ask you one question? If it goes to the point that it's a flat Earth, if there's astronauts up in space, are you going to leave them there to die, or are you going to go get them?
What? Why would I leave them there to die?
Because you don't believe it's there.
No, I think that there's space above us. I just don't believe in the heliocentric conceptualization of what it is.
So are there astronauts on the ISS right now?
Well, 250 miles up, sure. I could believe we're 250 miles up. I know we've gone 60 miles up. I don't see a problem in that. Yeah, there's space above the Earth, obviously.
Okay, so let's say it's in another 2 years and we have people on the moon. Are you gonna go get them?
Well, good luck with that, but
I'm just saying, if
there were actually people stranded on the moon and it was above a flat Earth, yeah, we'd go get them.
But you wouldn't believe that they're there.
Well, we would know the truth at that point. And if someone came to us and said, you know what, the moon is closer, but we can go on it and we have people there and we need to go get them, we'd be like, send the ships up and go fucking get them.
Yeah, you're so deep into this. I'm not even sure if they had commercial, like if they had a vacations to the moon. I don't think you would believe in I still think you're at the point where you would say, oh, it does look like, the Earth does look like a sphere, but really that's just the disk of the flat Earth. And then you would go towards the moon, and then you would say, oh, I'm just seeing the edge of the disk. That's not really the moon. It's just the edge of a flat disk.
Yeah, that's a nice little story, but we can talk about that when
we
do have the
just so we know, they've already started because now that we're now space tourism is coming online, where you can see the curvature of the Earth. You now have the flat earthers who always said it looks flat, all high altitude balloon footage is flat. Now they're saying, well, of course it's curved. That's the edge of your vision on the flat Earth. That's just the circle of your vision around you.
Yeah, that was me that came up with that. And by the way, that's true. You can't deny that your vision is circular around you. You can draw a circumference, and describe your visibility. Can you not?
But your vision is also very limited.
Yes, you can.
That wouldn't be
I go up and I look at my weather map, and it says my weather app. It says visibility today 10 miles, and I go stand in the middle of the lake.
But that's not necessarily true in every direction equally, is it? Might be
on a macro scale when you're talking about being that high off Earth and looking that far out. Yeah,
it might be clear in one direction and not in another. That can
on a macro scale. When you go above the Earth that far and can see that far, yeah, it's going to be very consistent.
So 10 miles is what, 1/6 of a degree?
We're not talking about on a macro scale. You're talking about your personal point of view, and your claim is that all of us have got some circular limit to what we can see, and that's
always
false.
Any point of view has a circular limit.
There's no evidence of that whatsoever. What's the limit?
Of course there is.
Okay, so what
Open your weather app.
Okay, so
your
how
weather
far is
app.
the limit?
Open your weather app and you can see what it is for you at your location today.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, the weather app is not used
Open
for
your
us
weather
on the
app and
macro
fucking
scale.
look.
And
Why do you-
B, you know that there's different distances. When you're looking out across the
Of course he
ocean or a
knows.
lake, you can see.
Okay, so
further
how
than you
far
can
away is
across
the moon? Because I
the
can
other
see
direction.
that. So how far away is that? What is that on the weather app?
The moon is above the atmosphere. So
Yeah,
can
but
see
how
it
far
further.
away is it?
I don't
Is it
know.
more than 4 miles?
Do you
It's
think
like,
it's further than the distance it says in my weather app?
It's like 4,000 to 7,000
And
miles
in
away.
my weather app, it'll just say visibility good. It won't say a distance. Your
It does.
claim
It gives
is
me a
that there is a,
distance.
your claim is that there is a physical distance to how far we can see. That's rubbish. Well, that's
Well,
nonsense. Okay, so
well,
what's
you are a silly man.
so what's the limit?
saying
To
that.
how, okay, so what is the limit to how far we can see?
Well, here I'll give it to you for my location today. I'll pop it in the thing,
That's
and you can take a look
how
at it.
you can. That's how far. That's how clear the air is. Not the physical distance that you can see. Don't be silly.
You can only see according to how clear the air is, how far you can see. That's visibility. That's all you can ever see.
Right, but that only applies to at the ground level, right?
Right.
Right. And that's what you're talking about when you look down at the horizon or at the earth, isn't it?
Not down from looking
No,
above.
you are
You're
claiming.
always having to look through the atmosphere.
Look, Brandon, you're lying because you're claiming.
No,
that
I'm
there's-
not lying. I'm not lying. I'm not. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying.
I'm going to tell you how
Brandon's lying.
I'm going to tell you how you're lying because you are saying there's a physical distance to how far we can see. That is, our eyes can see so far, and beyond that, we just can't see stuff. It stops being visible to us. And here is your lie. You are pretending that this view is supported. Why are you talking? You're pretending that this view.
You just keep lying. You just keep lying about what I said.
You're pretending that this view is supported by a weather app. And it's not. That is not what the weather app is telling you. And you are lying if you pretend that it is.
The weather app isn't telling me what the visibility is for my location?
Yes, it is telling you what the visibility is for your location. Visibility in a weather app is not the physical limitation of how far your eyes can see. You are lying.
No one said it was the physical limitation for how far my eyes could see. I said it was the limit of my visibility.
Visibility only applies to the ground level. So whatever you're using it for above the ground level is not a valid use of that tool.
Don't forget too that like airport
looking through the atmosphere, or when there is any kind of obstructive material in the space that you're looking between.
But many times it'll say greater than 10 miles. It doesn't ever say more than that. It'll say greater than 10 miles. Like if you look at airport ATIS information that pilots use, it'll say on a clear day, it'll say visibility greater than 10 miles. It doesn't say it's 100 miles.
A million miles.
It is 1,000 miles.
Do you think that means that you can see a million miles when it says?
Yes, it actually does mean you can see a million miles.
No.
Can't see a million miles.
You don't know why they put that
Can't
there.
see me.
You don't know.
Yeah, you can see Jupiter go to the horizon, which is more than a million miles. Many more millions.
The atmosphere. It's above
Brandon,
the atmosphere.
Brandon, do you believe in the latitude and longitudes?
What do you mean? Do I believe in them?
You believe that there's the equator's at 0, and then there's 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, up to the North Pole, 9 degrees, each one being 69 miles of every degree, or 690 miles for every 10 degrees.
Oh, well, I believe that you've mapped the land masses to a coordinate system. Yeah.
So then every 69 miles, there's only 1 degree of difference of that curve. Can you see 1 degree difference in 69 miles?
No, there's no curve. So that's
incorrect. No, yes, there have to be. If we had, where do the degrees come from? Where do the degrees come from?
The degrees is the declination of the celestial objects, isn't it? Or whatever you're looking at in the sky. That's what you mean by degrees.
Map that on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I will. I have.
And it works off flat?
On a piece of paper, and I have showed it. Matches a flat plane.
So Brandon,
I will again in the future.
Spell it out. Let's spell it out,
And
Brandon.
you again won't listen to it. No, because it's too complex to describe
Brandon,
in this conversation, especially with the participants we had. I'm sorry.
Too complex.
That's fine, but Brent.
Yeah,
Brandon,
it is. It is very complex. It's not
Brandon,
easy to
you
describe
realize
because your head is all twisted up in the heliocentric model, so it'll take me a long time
So,
to
so
unravel the threads.
Brandon, let's see you and I go out into the country, we'll get blindfolded, be sent out to the country, 20 miles away from everything, and see who can get home first. Over at all.
Sure. I'm an expert navigator, so no problem.
We're going to give you a watch. I'm going to have a watch, and that's all we're going to have.
That's not a problem. I'm sure that
You don't have to yell, Eminem.
Well,
You're an expert. Hold on a second. Hold on. He just made a claim. He said he's an expert navigator. So how does celestial navigation work on a flat plane?
Same way it works in reality.
No.
Which way? Well, wait. You follow the.
Huh?
Can one person at a time talk, please?
Yeah.
I'll let him finish because I got into it. But we're going to talk about celestial navigation when you're done with this conversation.
I'm done.
Here's how it works. I move X distance. The apparent position of the celestial objects moves X distance. I coordinate those to the distances that I moved. Boom. Navigating.
Polaris never moves.
And how does it work in the southern hemisphere?
In the northern hemisphere, Polaris never moves.
Yeah, no.
He didn't say he knows the southern hemisphere, but how does that work there?
In the southern hemisphere, it will get to the Southern Cross.
You talking about the parent celestial pole in the south?
No, I'm talking about the
stars. No, if you're navigating by the stars and you go down south, you're looking at a different set of stars.
That's okay. You can navigate by any star, right?
You can, and you should.
Yeah.
But why are they different
Works
down
the
there?
same way.
Why? But why are they different?
Describe
why
to me
are they different?
How? Describe to me what the difference is.
They're going in a different direction.
Yeah.
At night.
They're going east to west, right?
Well, no. If you look south,
If you're looking south, west to east.
No. If you're in the south, the stars still go east to west.
Well, and if you look directly south, they're going clockwise.
If you look directly south, they're still going east to west.
Right, but you don't acknowledge that it's in a different
Only the
direction
ones
than
that
the
are
other side.
higher in elevation than the southern celestial pole.
You have a different point of look.
No.
You have a different central.
That's not
central
true.
Point of rotation.
Actually.
There's a different
Not
point
true
of
at all.
rotation in the southern
But
hemisphere.
anyway, yeah.
There is an apparent rotation in the southern hemisphere, and that I can't explain.
The stars that are the stars that
Fair
are
enough. Fair enough.
Jake,
You
Jake's
admitted
turn.
it. He admitted. He said there's a
Jake's
different
turn.
rotation. He can't admit. Okay.
Jake, go ahead.
No, because the stars that never go below the horizon at your location, the circumpolar stars that never go below the horizon, those stars go east to west and west to east on both the north and the south pole. They don't all go east to west. That's nonsense.
The stars above you go east to west. You know what I meant.
The circumpolar star. What about the circumpolar? What about the circumpolar stars, though?
If I was
those stars go east to west and west to
west.
east, and
if I was under those stars, they'd be going east to west. Correct?
The stars always go east to
stars.
west. They never change
Oh, if you
direction. It's east to west.
If you were under them, you'd just be going in a circle above your head.
yeah, they're going to circle above your head.
You guys are not arguing in good faith. And Jake, you're a complete
They would
joke
still be
to
going
argue
east to west. You're correct. You're correct.
Sorry. I'm not going to waste my time.
It doesn't make much sense to say east to west when it's circling above your head.
It does.
It would be circling above
The
your
sun
head and
rises
dip
in
toward
the
the
east and sets in
horizon
the
due to
west. There's no point in
perspective.
saying that.
Sorry, I
That's a
couldn't hear
pointless
you when
statement.
I was talking.
That's a pointless statement about the sun. It rises in the east and sets in the west. Is that pointless?
No,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
that.
Are
If
you making
you're-
that claim?
If you're beneath
Yeah.
stars that are circling above your head, like literally going in a circle and a few degrees circle above your head,
They would
it
be
doesn't
going
make sense
east to
say that
west.
They're going
They would be going east to west. Fine.
It makes more sense just to say clockwise or counterclockwise.
Not really.
Well, we have train tracks that go straight in every direction, but appear to rise up toward the level of the eyes when they're below our feet. If you have a linear direction of, say, the sun going in a straight line over your head, you'd expect the opposite to occur, like looking down a hallway. It would approach the horizon, but appear to go down. If you change that into a linear circular motion where it stays in one plane but is in a circle, it would still go up and down, but it would be more of an arch that you would see in the sky. So logically, we would expect something toward the horizon and become less visible with greater distance, just like the train tracks, but in reverse from the sky downward and in more of a curve.
Are you making that claim?
So ignoring that for a minute.
That's pretty logical.
Does your ceiling fan go west to east or east to west?
It's not sweeping in a very big arc. But if you're basically saying that it's east to west, it would be going in a circle, sure. But when its arc gets bigger, it will appear to straighten out eventually and possibly reverse due to perspective as it gets big enough and far enough away.
That's not what he asked.
Because we're seeing the sun circle overhead and approach the horizon.
Well, what if there's an airplane that's, flying so far away that you could barely see it, and it's doing a circle around your location? Is that going east to west or west to east? It's just doing,
east to west.
60 or 70.
The sun as it circles over the flat surface. It just follows the course of the sun, which is always east to west by definition.
Is that your claim of what the sun does?
Obviously, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't my claim.
So then we know what you know what the sun does.
Well, it's never reversed by history.
I have been hearing that we don't know what the sun does.
We can see where it moves.
So you know something about it.
We know the apparent position of the sun, sure, which isn't even
how
actual.
far away it is?
No.
What? No, we don't know that.
Lemon might want to make that claim. I don't.
But you just made a claim. You know where it comes from.
The sun moves east to west. We don't have any sort of other possibility that's worth exploration.
So you don't know nothing else about sun except it goes east to west.
We know.
So basically, it's approaching the horizon due to perspective, not because of going below a ball.
Cool.
Hey, earlier, Brandon said that every 69 miles there's 1 degree of declination of the stars. Why is that a constant rate? Why is that? Why doesn't it scale off? Like the further you move, like shouldn't it be the less the declination is proportionate to the distance?
It all has to do with the tilt or the height of the object and the tilt of its path down to the vanishing point. Plus, there's some shit going on at the horizon that makes the last 15 degrees really not worth talking about.
Yeah, but it's not. It does that process. The rate that it moves down in your vision doesn't scale like if you were in a hallway and you walked backwards. If you were in a hallway and you walked backwards from the end and faced the end, the amount that end of the hallway drops in your vision isn't a constant rate.
Right.
It is with the stars, though.
I understood the first time. So, and my answer is still the same. Now, let's imagine we're in a long hallway.
No, what was your answer?
Point. You didn't even listen?
What was your answer?
What was it?
I don't know. What was it?
Tried to give it to you guys. Overtalked him. Shut the fuck up and maybe.
It's hard to accurately repeat things you don't understand.
We're all quiet now.
True. All right. So let's imagine we're in a long hallway and it ends in a vanishing point. The hallway is right above us, a normal size hallway. And we take that and we hinge it on that vanishing point and push the height of that is directly above us up. That slope of that descent of that ceiling towards that vanishing point is going to increase. It's going to get more severe. At a certain height, there will be a much closer correlation between the physical distance and the number of degrees. I can map it out from approximately 85 to around 12 degrees and keep the consistent rate.
I don't think that's true, man.
Well, have you tried it?
Well,
I mean, I'm open to being shown that. I don't think it's true.
I'll be happy to show it to you.
If you're looking straight up, you have no ceiling, you have no floor, you have no walls. There's just no vanishing point. You're looking straight up.
I think you're just incorrect.
Well, you just said you haven't tried it, and you're open to hearing about it. So sounds like you don't understand what I'm saying completely.
I mean, I took geometry in high school, and it just doesn't work that way.
Right, so to understand it has to be flat to get the angle then.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's fine. He's admitting he doesn't understand it. So
where's your vanishing point?
You and I had a discussion, and I'll show it to you.
Hang on. I'll say it's possible that I'm incorrect and what you're saying is true. However, I would give the odds of that about less than 1%.
Well, show Brandon.
Okay, that's nice.
Show the geometry, like to know one way or the other, right? Yeah.
Like it's like you're just making up new geometry.
No, see, because I actually spent months and years thinking about it, so I'm not making anything up. You just haven't heard what I have to say, and you think this dumb fuck
I think
on the
you've
internet
spent months and years cocooning
what I
yourself in
believe
bullshit
must
so you
be
can remain in denial.
Well, there you go. Then why are we even fucking talking?
Well, visual
lay on the ground.
geometry does not perfectly map what we see. The thing is, visual geometry tries to treat like the coin in front of a car, like we're seeing light rays that go down to the point of our eye, like it's a pie slice geometrically. To explain how something that's smaller in the foreground can block something bigger in the background is just an approximation, but it doesn't take into account how the ceiling eventually merges with the floor at the diffraction limit. So this geometric geometry of vision that we try to use with the hallway is just an approximation, but it doesn't take into account the diffraction limit. So it's going to be a bit of a limited model or analogy.
So I've got a question.
That's kind of irrelevant, Lemon.
I got a question for Louis there.
Okay.
How would you get your vertex if the ground wasn't horizontal?
How would you get your vertex if the ground wasn't horizontal? Well, I mean, this is also an irrelevant. This is also, Lemon. The question wasn't for you. Thanks so much. It's also irrelevant, and
well,
honestly,
it's not. Are you asking how do you get the angle in the sky? Is he asking how you get the angle in the sky? Is that what your question is?
Oh my god. Okay, no, stop.
The vertex is the point of the angle.
No,
let him talk. Jesus Christ.
I'm more interested in continuing the conversation with Brandon about the hallway. So if you put yourself in this hallway and you start drawing lines from the perspective of a fixed point, and you draw one line straight up, then you go 1 degree and draw another line, then you go down another degree and draw another line, and you do this, for all 90 degrees. The distance between the space between each of those 1 degree lines at the point where they actually intersect with the hallway, those distances will change.
No shit. Physically, yeah.
Right, exactly. And this is the problem. This is the problem that you have, because in real life, the distance you should have to change to get this 1 degree difference should change as well.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't.
Well, see, this is what so you've already acknowledged that you think there's less than a 1% chance that I know what I'm talking about. You said you'd like to hear more about it.
He didn't attack you at all. He just gave you a scenario.
So why
answer
would
him.
I continue to engage with you, Louis? What's the purpose? Are you looking to ridicule me more, or do you really want to know the answer?
He didn't attack you, number one. He gave you a scenario.
Monkey, it's fine. It's fine, Monkey. Brandon, I don't feel a need to explain my motives.
Okay, then I don't feel the need to explain how Earth works to you.
Brandon, that is entirely up to you.
I know that.
I'm always interested in more.
It seems like a very cowardly thing to do. I think you really do understand that you don't have a good explanation for this, and you just want to pretend like you do.
That's nice. Thanks for telling me about the inner workings of your mind.
It has nothing to do with my mind.
If you lay on the ground, out in the field, looking straight up, where are the walls beside you? Where's your ceiling and where's the floor? You're looking straight up. Where's your vanishing point?
So the curve of the sky is basically 69 miles per degree, which appears to approximate it kind of having a smushing effect as you get further and further from Polaris' basis for the 69 miles per degree.
I said nothing but Polaris, just looking straight up.
More and more smushed as it gets further and further away due to perspective. It's not because you're on some sort of ball with a circular sky. It's just the limits of perspective. As the street lights get further and further away, they're going to smush more and more.
Not
appear to be more compressed.
Straight up, Chemo, straight up. No, sorry. Straight up.
Perspective, linear perspective over a flattish plane. That's it. It's just a limitation.
There's no smushing whatsoever in the sky.
Yes, there is. It appears that the image that you take of Polaris, each 69 degrees or whatever, or 69 miles per degree, gets more and more smushed as it gets toward the horizon. And they're approximating that with a circle. But you can do that with linear perspective as well.
Yeah,
Brandon, I'd like
the
Little Dipper is approximately 17 degrees wide, no matter where you see it from.
You don't use Polaris. You don't use the celestial objects for navigation because they're unreliable. 15 degrees and under. That's part
Brandon,
of
I'd like you to consider that you could be in denial, and pointing that out is not an attempt to ridicule. It's simply pointing that out.
I could be in denial, but I'm not.
We'd have to see the motivations for denial. The materialist atheists, like Lewis and others, would have to deny obvious flat and dome creation because, by implication, it means that there's a God they're accountable to. So that's a huge motivation for denial as well. What motivation would the flatty have for denial, Lewis?
How would you measure if you're in denial or not?
Well, you have to look at the motivation for said denial. Ask Lewis what motivation
I think the motivation is an emotional one. I think flat earthers feel empowered and satisfied by their beliefs. It gives them a way to explain the world in a way that they understand. And they feel very good about that. And so when people confront them, and you might disagree with this,
day job, Louis.
But
Let Lewis talk as well. Goddamn.
So I think the reason they get mad, or you, Lemon, flat earthers get mad when you're confronted by people who disagree with you and are trying to explain to you why your beliefs cannot possibly be correct. The reason you get mad is because what we're offering in replace for this satisfying, empowering belief system that you have are boring facts that don't add to your life and in fact make you feel very insignificant. And you don't like that.
Fucking
It's amazing. It's amazing you think you're better than everybody else just because you're not a flat earther.
I don't think that.
What?
That was never mentioned.
I don't think I'm better than you.
Sorry, the way you're talking down on every.
You think you're better than flat earthers?
Exactly.
What does that have to do with anything?
What are you talking about? How to respond. I don't know what to say to that because I don't think I'm better than you, and I don't think I'm talking down to you.
Well,
Lewis, how many
denying
frames
reality.
Lewis, how many frames have you removed out of videos lately?
I don't know.
So if Lewis answers you
Denying
honestly,
reality.
if Lewis answers you honestly and calls you out, then you're just gonna do this shit. Wow.
All right, listen. I'll respond to what Lewis is saying because I understand where he's coming from. He doesn't understand why I'm saying the things I said. He's already acknowledged that. So from his point of view, I must be wrong.
No, I didn't say that.
Thinks, naturally, why is he wrong? Why would he be so confident is what he's saying? And I am so sure that he's wrong. There must be something mentally deficient or some kind of psychological process that is leading him to accept what is clearly not true. That's where you went wrong, Lewis. You're assuming the truth of your own beliefs.
Well, the first thing you said there isn't true. I never said that I don't understand what you believe. I never said that.
No, I'm telling you, you don't understand what I said.
Well, no, you
responded.
explicitly said that I said that I don't
No,
understand it.
You did.
No, I didn't.
You did. When we first
You
started
did
this
say that.
conversation, you did.
You did say that, yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh, the main thing is we
Okay,
have
well, you're clarifying you didn't mean it. That's fine.
The Globers clearly misunderstand perspective and slavishly worship experts and elites to tell them the truth first before they think for themselves. That's
What
why
are
we've
you
been here
reading
for
from,
5
Lemon? What are you reading from? You just said
Lemon.
lavishly.
On the ground.
What are you reading
He's
from?
reading
Lemon?
from the Book of Lemon.
a slave to the experts who have to think for you as opposed to you seeing the flat horizon, feeling no motion with your feet and thinking for yourself. That's enslavement.
Yeah, slavishly.
Enslavement to experts.
You just said slavishly. What are you reading from, Lemon?
The Book of Lemon.
18th century literature with higher vocab and higher ideas that form the mind in a much better structure than the bad schools of today.
Oh dear.
Publicly, anyway.
Oh, you failed.
I challenge every one of us to go outside, lay on the ground, no matter where you are, look straight up and tell me that you have a vanishing point, and you be truthful to yourself. Is there any kind of vanishing point?
No, all I got is clouds.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to still hear what Brandon and I would like to hear Brandon's response. Actually,
Response
he
to
was
what?
to Lewis. You were talking to Lewis. There was a thing going on. Lemon jumped in and like threw it off rail, but it's fine. I mean, go ahead. Talk to Lewis.
No, he said that
I
he
would
didn't
like
say
to
he
hear.
understood.
I would like to hear you and Lewis talk.
Yeah, at one point you were going to explain how you can get a constant relationship between elevation, angle, and distance.
Yeah, I did explain that. I did.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
just
go into all
said
the
something
details.
about tilting the ceiling up, and that didn't really explain it.
All right. The reason I said with the tilted and the ceiling up is when you look over the Earth, the vanishing point is always the same for all lines of sight. All lines of sight will terminate at the same vanishing point. Now, refraction and reflections and whatever the fuck else will obscure and obfuscate that vanishing point. But that's the general concept. So if you have something that's low, like 10 feet, and going away from you into infinity, as opposed to something that's 1,000 feet high and going off into infinity, those will slope at differing rates down into the vanishing point. There's a relationship between the distance that those slope along the horizontal and the actual physical distance that they are away from you. At some point in tilt, that relationship will open up to be roughly, for most of the travel from zenith to vanishing point, 1 degree per 69 miles-ish.
All right, I'm going to have to
From
ask
about
you what
85 degrees to
vanishing
12-ish
point.
degrees.